Houston,
All right.
we're talking about vaccines.
Yay!
Yay, vaccines!
Welcome to Quibbles Over Coffee, and today we're talking about vaccines.
Vaccines! Okay,
Hey.
so let's clarify. We are not anti-vax. We are pro-vax.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am pro-vax. Houston, you're pro-vax.
Yes, get your
Good.
vaccines.
Good. That was slightly me checking, but mostly me just vibing with you.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I was very confident. Okay, that's good. We're both pro-vax. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the vaxes.
Okay.
All right. We are having 1.2 million vaccines put out every day.
Yeah.
Snaps for this. This is good. This is very good news.
Yeah,
We
very
like
good
this.
news.
This is much better than we were not too long ago when there were 0 a day.
Right.
1.2 million is better than 0.
I'd agree with that in this circumstance.
This context. Yeah, there are circumstances where 1.2 million is worse.
Sure.
Right? If you're
right.
0 in debt, that's better than 1.2 million in debt. But vaxes are an example of this is good.
Yeah.
Houston, I got a question.
Okay.
So there's a couple of questions. One is sort of the conversation of like how exactly are we going to implement this across the board, ensure that everyone who needs to get vaccinated is vaccinated, all that stuff. But I think that there are a lot of people who are a lot smarter than us and whose job is to do that.
Right.
My job is to be a propagandist, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
And as a propagandist,
also to inform. It's also partly to inform.
Yeah, sure. So my job is to figure out why is it that there are so many people who are anti-vax.
Okay. I have 2 answers.
I'm ready.
Off the top of my head. So I think the first one and the silly one, we're going to go get out of the way with the silly one first. The silly one is that in a study in the early 2000s, I'm not going to give a year because I don't remember the year, some non-scientists did a study on how vaccines cause autism. And because they were like doing a radical thing, and it was like this study on vaccines that no one's ever done before, and they did one study and they got like one person to corroborate it. It got into like this news journal and everyone read it, and it spread like wildfire because like I don't want my children to have autism. And so people believed it because it was in the news and because it was like a thing that people were talking about. But it was a bogus study and it's not true. So don't believe it. Don't believe the hype. Vaccines do not cause autism. Yeah. And so I think that's a main issue. I don't think people are talking about that as much as the second thing. I lied. There are 3 things that I thought about. But the second thing is that people are like, the government is giving you this vaccine and they're going to put like a tiny chip that's going to track you in your blood, and then the government's going to be able to track you wherever you go. A tiny
chip that will know where you are at all times.
Yeah.
A tiny little chip that the government can track.
Right.
That will know where you are.
Yeah.
At all times.
Yeah.
I couldn't possibly think of an example of a tiny chip. But to clarify, I don't like it that they have a tiny chip in there that knows where I am at all times. But they clearly do.
It's already there.
They clearly do.
They clearly do. It's already there.
This second version. But
all of you have one. And to think that first of all that it's going to be small enough to fit through a needle.
You don't know what
second
a chip
of all
is.
that it's going to like exist in a liquid and still like work no.
You just
it just
don't
doesn't
know
work.
What a chip is. You don't understand how tracking works.
Yeah.
Tracking, I mean, okay, so I was about to explain how tracking works. And I realized I don't really know how tracking works either. But that's not. I know that's not how it works.
Right.
We can discount that one. That one is dumb because they already do track you. Okay.
Right.
If you're not scared of the CIA, you don't know what the CIA is. So like that part is silly. And
It's
if you're really
ridiculous.
against them tracking you, then join me in my quest to destroy the CIA. I mean, I'm definitely not against the CIA. CIA, I love you. Give us subscribers, right? But the point is that like
to think that like vaccines
that one's silly. That one's
like tracking. Yeah, it's so silly. It's really
very,
dumb.
very dumb. Very dumb.
Ridiculous.
Okay. But let's unpack the other ones. So the first one was your the concern about I'm going to get the brain problems. I'm going to
Right.
get, whether it's, you know, whatever the specific issue is. What's your response to that when people say that?
I would just tell them that the study that this argument or this like thought process is based off of is faulty and isn't legit.
Mhm.
And I guess I would have to look up research and studies to show the opposite. But given a lot of people who would believe this, I'm not sure would care about the studies in the reverse, which is
Yeah.
the issue.
So here's
Because
my
like
yeah.
I understand, because like you believe a study in the first place, but then like if someone tells you the opposite or a new study's been done to counteract that, they're like, well, I don't trust it. And it's like,
Mhm.
honey.
Here's my take on conspiracy theorists.
Okay.
When talking to a conspiracy theorist, I don't think you should ever attempt to answer questions. I think you should always attempt to ask questions. So like, here's the question I would
Interesting.
ask of a conspiracy theorist about the autism thing.
Okay.
Why exactly is it in the interest of these doctors to give people autism? Right, because presumably if you can figure this out as like a normal person, presumably the doctors know as well.
Yeah.
So why are the doctors keeping this like a secret? Why do they want millions of Americans to get autism?
Because they're in cahoots with the
Jews. You can say it. Yeah.
No, I was thinking.
Why do the Jews want it?
I was thinking about that. The triangle people.
No, yeah, you're talking Illuminati, the Jews.
Yeah, the Illuminati.
No, we understand. We understand. Yeah.
They're in cahoots with the Illuminati to make everyone dumb, I guess.
Yeah. Why does the Illuminati want people to be dumb?
So they're easier to control?
So the idea is that they want everyone to have autism and therefore become less productive worker bees within the system of like their new like world government, their shadow government. They want everyone to be dumb so they're more easily controlled but also less productive members of society. If they wanted to do that, like, why wouldn't they just like kill you? They could kill you, right? Surely you know that they could kill you if they wanted to kill you.
Right.
So why aren't they killing you?
Yeah.
And there are much simpler ways to kill people than to manufacture this entire, you know, disease that even the rich people are dying of the disease. Even like, you know, even the people who are most powerful members of society are getting this disease. And like, you're telling me that like, you know, Herman Cain wasn't part of the shadow government?
Sure.
You're telling me that like there are some important people, right?
Yeah.
What's his face? One of the Toms from Hollywood. I think he got it.
Tom
right?
Hanks. Yeah,
Tom Hanks. That's the one. If you're telling me there's a shadow government and that Tom Hanks isn't part of it, I'm sorry. I just can't take you seriously. I can't take you seriously. Obviously, Tom Hanks is part of the shadow government.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
I don't know. What do you know? What they think? Do you know what they, if they like think beyond this like one news article they heard 20 years ago?
I think that there's just a broad, and I think to be fair, like this is reasonable. I think there are a lot of Americans who are very scared of the American government and are like convinced that the American government is doing bad things. Which, let's be clear, they're right.
Right.
About that part, they're totally right.
Sure.
The American government does do like multiple things that are like noticeably not good. You know, like regularly.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd say on an hourly basis.
Yeah. Like even like Janet Yellen. Turns out she took an $800,000 speaking fee from the people who were shorting GameStop. Which like okay, we already did we kind of like Janet Yellen, we kind of don't like Janet Yellen. She's good on climate change, she's bad on other things, specifically blockchain. And I'm like, oof, like Janet, what you doing, honey? You know, don't do that. Like bad. right? But like all of this shit is just like rank and file, like obviously that's happening.
Sure.
And like no one even
For
talks
sure.
about it. The fact
Right.
that Trump literally owned a fucking hotel, that he had Saudi Arabia have their entire dignitaries, like literally thousands of people were staying in his hotel
Yeah.
and bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars a
Mhm.
night from Saudi Arabia while they
Right.
were there in DC to talk
Right.
to Trump, the sitting president.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even talk about that. That's not even why he was impeached either time. Like,
yeah. That's definitely a high crime.
yeah. So like, I understand why people are like, concerned about the American government,
Sure.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I get it. Like,
Yeah.
you're probably right. They definitely
Yeah.
do torture people. There's no
Right.
question about that. And like, ooh, they did torture people. No, they torture people now. They do.
Right.
They do. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They do. And so like, I get it. I understand why you're scared of America, but take it seriously. Right?
Yeah.
I just wish that these conspiracy theorists were like smarter about their conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Like,
because
you don't need
definitely
to make
you don't need to make up conspiracy theories about like vaccines when there's literally like so much other stuff that's like
why bother with like the fucking Pizzagate? Hillary Clinton has people in the fucking basement when I'm sorry, her husband literally multiple times lied about being on the fucking pedophile plane to go to the pedophile island, which both Trump was at and Clinton was at, as well as members of the royal family of the United Kingdom.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, you don't need to make fun of like make up shit about some random pizza parlor when you can talk about the fucking pedophile island and the guy who was probably murdered in a maximum security prison while he was supposed to be on suicide watch. Okay, how about we talk about that shit? I don't understand why people need to make a random crap about the fucking pizza parlor.
Right.
It's nonsense.
No, it is nonsense. It's ridiculous. There's so many legit conspiracy theories that you could make up, or you could, I don't know, like research JFK's death, or like research some like there's so many other things.
Yeah.
But like vaccines, that's the hill you're gonna die on.
Right. The thing is that like when you're talking about the Kennedy's death, like there is strong reason to explain why people would want Kennedy dead.
Sure.
Right. There are very, very, very good reasons why people would want him dead. There are very, very good reasons that are similar to the reasons that people wanted Martin Luther King dead. Similar to the reasons people, right? Like there are a lot of people who've been murdered in the history of the United States, and a lot of them have been murdered by the FBI. A lot of them have been murdered by the CIA. A lot of them have been murdered. So like, I get it. I do understand. And also, let's be clear, like it's definitely a lot of fun. Okay. Talking about Epstein is so much fun. Okay. The fact that Ghislaine Maxwell's name is literally Jizz. Okay. That shit's fun. It's fun. I understand why people like enjoy the conspiracy theories, but like ground your conspiracy theories in reality, maybe, right?
Yeah. Please.
Yeah.
That would be helpful for all of us.
It would. Yeah. That would be very helpful for all of us.
Right.
Yeah. So okay. How do we convince the vaccine cause autism people that vaccines don't cause autism, but okay, the only reason we went into war against the totality of the Middle East, right? The only reason that we're murdering like thousands of people overseas every year is to make money for Raytheon.
What if we give it a rebrand?
I'm ready. Go for it.
I don't know. I just thought about this because just like there are issues with vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like vaccine is an aggressive word. Like the V.
That's
kind of like
that's
vaccine.
Interesting. It is an aggressive word. I can buy that. Okay.
Whereas like I feel like if we rebrand it as kind of like a health thing and like kind of give it a reframe as like here, like this thing will help you with this, and like maybe I'm trying to think. Because I think they still have to. So do you? I mean, I'm not going to ask you. Do you know how vaccines work?
Not really.
Me neither. Because I got like 3 last week, and it actually really hurt. But they just like right?
Oh, you mean like how they literally go into your body? Yeah, I thought you meant
Yeah,
that,
'cause,
like
like-
how they actually function.
No. I know
Mhm.
that they like go into your arm. They you gotta like put it in your arm, but like I feel like because with if you get blood, it has to go into like the blood or whatever.
Mhm.
And you have to get a vein, and they pull out the blood from your veins. But like the vaccine, they just kind of stick it in you. And I don't know. I just thought that was interesting because like I don't know where in the body it's supposed to go.
We could look it up.
We could look it up.
How do vaccines work? This is an interesting question.
Because like I know once they're in there, they like kind of mimic the thing that they're protecting against, and then your body fights it, and it's like, we know how to fight this. And then you get like immunity to it. But like
Vaccines train our immune system to create proteins that fight disease, known as antibodies, just as would happen when we are exposed to a disease. Crucially, vaccines work without making us sick. Oh yeah. So a vaccine
Yeah.
is basically so like the now I remember it. So it's like the chicken pox, right? So the chicken pox was the first vaccine, right? And the way that worked was they literally just like took a bunch of chicken pox, right? And they were supposed to be like giving it to a bunch of animals to test it. And so they were like they had a controlled group, and they had the control group, meaning the group of people who weren't actually of animals that were not being given any treatment to fix it, right?
Mhm.
But they were just holding it, they were just storing it in like the disease itself. But then over time, they sort of gave a little dosage to it, and then because they gave a smaller little dosage, that was functioning as giving them a very sort of low amount of the disease, and so it was actually helping them build up the antibodies, helping build up the immunity within the body to protect against the disease. So it turned out that like just giving them a little bit of the disease was a cure to the disease, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that's basically what they are, but they're much more complicated than that at this point, because they're also like training it so that it doesn't actually give you even a mild case of the disease.
Yeah.
So that's what a vaccine is. Okay, cool.
So
How do we frame it?
I think we can rebrand. Do we have
herd immunity?
what?
People
Herd
talk about
immunity?
herd immunity, right?
Yeah,
This is herd immunity.
it is.
What this is a COVID party. We're giving everyone a teeny bitty little bit of poof of COVID. No, I don't think that would work.
No. What about like? Can we do like the opposite of COVID?
A Dovik?
Dovik 91. 91 Dovik.
Or it would be Divok. I'm sorry. It would be Divok.
Divok?
I don't want to spread misinformation. The opposite of COVID is Divok. I'm sorry.
I don't like Divok.
No, I don't. Like what? Divok? That's bullshit. Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. How do we rebrand COVID?
I just don't think
Or
we
a
should be.
vaccine.
I'm not sure if we should be rebranding COVID. Yeah, I think it's about
Sorry,
rebranding
rebranding the
vaccines writ
vaccines.
large.
Yeah.
Because the same is a problem like going forward with a bunch of other diseases.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a thinker.
The stupids are very confusing. They really are.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to understand the stupids, but
it's frustrating because I just feel like my dog, right? I understand him.
Sure.
Like he doesn't understand me, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he understands like why I leave the okay, I don't leave the house anymore. But like back in the day when I used to leave the house, I don't think he understood where I was going. Right?
Sure.
I don't think he understood like what like work is, what like school is. He doesn't understand like what education or like any of that shit is, right? But like I feel like I understand him. I don't feel like I understand the like stupids within the conspiracy theory world.
Yeah. It's a different kind of stupid.
It is a different kind of stupid. How do I comprehend the QAnoners?
Oh. I don't know.
Am I allowed to, or are they just gonna like yell at me because I'm Jewish? Is QAnon particularly anti-Semitic? I haven't spent enough time learning about QAnon. I should probably.
I don't know much about QAnon.
I assume that they are, just because they all are. But like,
about the jokes. There's a lot of jokes, and there's a lot of I know they don't like pedophiles, and I know that they thought that Donald Trump would save them from the
pedophiles.
Yeah, that's all I know about.
I don't like pedophiles. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I imagine there's more to it than just that they don't.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pedophiles.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. So
they get like drops from this guy named Q who lives on like Tumblr or some shit, or is it? It's probably Reddit. It's probably 4chan. Who knows? Whatever. Knows? These people confuse me.
Okay. There's another thing I want to talk about though.
I'm ready. Go for it.
And it's about how I think a lot of the issues with, I know my mom was talking about people in her hospital that didn't want to get it, were skeptical of because she works in the Bronx. There's a lot of Black and brown people in the Bronx, and those communities are also scared of the government, like either testing them, like testing things on them, or
which is valid,
and then also tracking them as like there's illegal people, and they're afraid that like because when you get the vaccine, you have to get like some sort of information, I guess, and they're scared that any information will be used to deport them, and it's like sure. That's valid. I was wondering, do you have any thoughts about how we can?
So okay. Okay, so my mom works with English as a second language training, and also works for the citizenship test stuff. So for the people who are working towards citizenship, obviously by definition they're here legally. They're here on green cards generally, and so if they're working to become citizens, obviously it's because they're part of a trajectory. It's here. The government knows that they're here. But for the English as a second language program, that is something that is entirely. They don't actually ask any information at all. It's done through a series of libraries, in her case, and they literally don't ask any information at all. They ask for your first name, and if you don't want to give it to them, you don't have to. And they also are more than happy to accept a fake name. They don't care. So it's a very much a don't ask, don't tell kind of program in terms of like whether or not people are here legally. It's just about teaching people English, but people are terrified, right? And I think like valid, like it's valid that people are concerned that like ICE is going to show up. Now the libraries do a really good job of making sure that ICE doesn't show up. And you know, people like my mom are obviously more than willing to protect people if it comes to that from ICE. But it is a valid concern, and I don't quite know how to make that argument to people and how to explain, because like the truth is that like, you know, I don't sound that much different when I explain it than someone who is lying sounds when they explain it.
Yeah.
And so like I don't know, I don't quite understand like how I can make myself sound different.
Yeah.
That's a fair one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a tough one.
I mean, like, so the quick answer is just to say, well, like obviously in the ideal situation, we wouldn't be asking anyone for any information at all when they're trying to get a vaccine. And I think eventually we're going to get there. But right now we're not there yet. And it makes sense that we're not there yet because we have limited vaccines, and therefore we need to ensure that we're getting them to, you know, people who are on the front lines in whatever regard they are.
And you also need to take 2 doses. So you
have
to be able to
you have to be able to figure out
register and how to get to the second one.
Exactly right. So you could do that based on like thumbprint or some shit, but I'm not sure people are comfortable giving their thumbprint.
No.
You could do that based on
maybe make up an email specifically for, but not everyone has email. And also no one would. I mean, like, yeah, one of the real problems is people just don't show up. Yeah.
And you want to make sure that people are actually showing up, and part of that is ensuring that they're actually getting the information. And if they have an email that's exclusively for COVID, they might not be checking it as much as they should.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It really is hard.
Biden administration has a lot of work to do.
They have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
They really do have a lot of work to do. And it's, yeah, I don't envy them in this moment at all. It's very difficult. And I think that there's it's frustrating because I don't think that the people in leadership are actually in a universal sense like on Team America, on team let's just get everyone the fucking vaccines and then let's worry about everything else after the fact. Because like everyone
what
has
do
a
you
separate agenda.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
confident that the Ted Cruzes of the world absolutely want ICE showing up. Luckily, they're not in charge,
That's
right?
true.
But if they were in charge, I mean, if Trump had won re-election, if we had simply just like not won in Georgia, both of those seats in Georgia, which is a miracle. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but like if we hadn't won both of those seats,
Yeah.
it is very possible
Yeah.
that
This would be a very different conversation.
yeah, it's very possible that ICE would have shown up.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God we have sanctuary cities. Thank God we have increasingly come close to having sanctuary states. But like, that's really bad.
Yeah.
If people aren't comfortable in Texas going in, or in New Mexico, wherever it is, right, going
Yeah.
in and getting the treatment that they desperately need, and that, by the way, we desperately need as a society for them to get, because they're still part of society and they're still talking to people and they're still bagging people's groceries, they're still working and shit, and like, you're gonna get everyone disease.
Yeah.
They're gonna see the worst of the worst versions of this disease bastardize and evolve into something even more deadly.
Yeah, it truly is a team effort,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes all of us, and it takes a good leader, and it takes a leader whose sole goal is to get everyone to the finish line, or I guess as many people
But that's
to the
just
finish
not
line as possible.
that's just not
but
the
that's
goal
not-
set
yeah.
of anyone. And by the way, like, you know, I'm shitting on the Republicans because they are worse, but like, also the Democrats aren't great on
Right.
this.
No, we're not historically known for working as a team
No, we're
at
not.
all. Like,
No, of
not
course
even
not.
a little bit.
Of course not. And that's frustrating.
It is very frustrating.
It's exceedingly frustrating.
So, but in this case though, if you're very committed to this cause, there is something you can do.
Which is what?
You can call your representatives.
And say what?
I don't know, work on the COVID shit. Call their offices and tell them to work on the COVID shit. Your representatives work for you. So, you should do that.
You should do that.
Anything else?
Yeah, I want to figure out a way to fix the conspiracy theorists.
Fix something?
The conspiracy theorists.
I feel like the rebrand is the only way. I think a rebrand. I think it just needs to be a solid rebrand. It needs to be like new colors, a new font, a new definition.
New colors and a font. Yeah.
Yeah. We got to make it like something that you're gonna want to take. Can we do drugs? Can we like brand it as a drug? People like drugs.
Not these people.
They don't?
I mean, they do. They all like do have opioids, but like,
right.
They don't like to admit that they have opioids. It's a secret that they do opioids.
Can we make it like a new like, because like I don't know, like heroin, you need needles for heroin, right?
Houston, you are playing to a left-wing audience here. That is not.
Right,
that is
people
not
don't do heroin.
They do, but they don't like to admit.
They don't like to admit
heroin.
they do heroin. But like, why are like white people against fun?
Well, okay. So to clarify,
heroin
isn't fun.
Sure, right.
I want to be clear.
But I mean, like
that
in general,
I very much don't endorse. I don't endorse marijuana, but I unironically don't endorse heroin. Like heroin is not a good idea.
Okay, I don't either. I'm just saying in general, we're like, I'll use the sex thing for example. Like, sex, and then you're like, you.
Yeah, that part's silly. That part's silly.
Right.
If you're against like feet femdom, like I'm sorry, licking a foot never hurt anyone, and it brought many a man to climax. Okay.
Right.
Many a man, and many a woman, and many a non-binary. So like, I feel that if you're anti-foot fetish, that you're just wrong. You're just wrong. That's it.
That's not a right thing though. I feel like a lot of people on the left are anti-foot fetish too, which is also silly.
Hot take: if you're anti-foot fetish, you're not a real leftist.
That's really funny.
It's true. You're not. Why? I don't understand.
I mean,
yeah,
I agree with you, but like, That's really funny.
Yeah. We got to figure out a way.
We got to figure out a way. Okay.
They're very okay. So here's the thing: they're all very conformist when it comes to like Christianity.
Yeah.
They all sit down in their pews and they listen to the big man in the front of the pew tell them the stuff.
Right.
How do we get the big man at the front of the pews, the priest, the Bible boy? How do we get the Bible boys to tell them to have vaccines?
Can we pay them?
No, you can't bribe the Bible boy. Houston, what the fuck? You cannot bribe the Bible boy. How is that your go-to answer? No,
because
we're
everyone
not
likes
bribing the
money.
Bible boy. What?
Everyone likes money.
Houston, if one of the Bible boys can document proof that we were trying to bribe the Bible boys to talk about vaccines, that makes everything worse.
What about if we get like a tax deduction or something?
You can't
Is
do
that the
that.
same?
They already are tax deduct. They don't pay taxes at all.
Right. Yeah.
None of these churches pay taxes.
Right. That's also an issue. Can we tell them that God told us?
Oh, I had a
God
revelation.
In Isaiah 32:21 to take your vaccines, but not the vaccines, the vaccine rebrand, whatever that is.
Corinthians 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus said,
yeah,
thou shalt administer
take
vaccine.
the vaccine such that you don't fucking die, you fucking dumb fuck. I just want
what about sports? They like sports.
They do like sports.
Can we make it a football? The Super Bowl is coming up, right? I think my dad was telling me about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Can we do like a sports ad where like the athletes are taking the vaccine and they're like, they definitely fetishize those athletes. We could be like,
but they're not a big fan of the athletes having political opinions.
Oh, I forgot this is political.
Yeah, they're really anti. Specifically, if they're like black athletes, they're not a big fan of the blacks having opinions.
Can we get the white athletes to take the vaccines?
The white athletes are all very stupid.
Not Colin. What about the Manning guy?
Eli Manning.
Isn't there Peyton Manning?
Peyton Manning. There's also Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a Trumpian.
Oh.
Tom Brady is very stupid.
Was it Tom?
I watched
Tom Brady the
Nolan
one that like went to the Florida team, and now they're in the Super Bowl.
That sounds right.
He's a Trump person.
He's a Trump person.
Oh, God damn it!
I know, it's very frustrating. Katie Nolan, she's like a comedian who talks about sports exclusively, and I actually moderately enjoy her. She's very funny, despite the fact that her content is wildly uninteresting to me because I don't understand anything about sports ball. But she was making a joke about that one, and she was like talking about how these people are just so stupid they don't even understand like what the hat is. So Tom Brady is just like, oh, like I got this hat from my friend, so it's just my friend hat, but it says "Make America Great Again," and he doesn't even understand what that means, which is probably true. These people are very dumb.
I believe that.
You have to remember that, like, truly, when America
wait, isn't that what we want though? Don't we want like a dumb Trumpian to take the vaccine in front of all the other dumb Trumpians?
You're totally right. I forgot.
Yeah. Oh my God. He wins the Super Bowl.
So what we need to do is get Tom Brady.
Yeah.
They
got to win the Super Bowl, and then. Oh no! They got to do it during the. No, they can't do it during the halftime show.
They got to do it before the sports ball. Yeah. Right now they're in a bubble, like a multi-billion-dollar bubble of everyone has to like stay in the bubble or like lose their contract of $100 million or whatever fuck it is, right?
But I feel like we need like the most eyes on it, and I think the most eyes would be either during or after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Maybe he like wins and then because I know they asked him like, what are you gonna do now that you won the blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna go get my vaccine.
I'm gonna get my booster shot. Yeah.
Would that do it? I'm gonna become COVID immune.
That's quite interesting indeed.
Right? With the Trump hat on. He should wear the Trump hat and be like, I'm gonna go get the vaccine.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. That could work.
I feel like that could work.
All right. So fuck writing to your congressman. Everyone needed to write to
don't do
Tom
that.
Brady. Everyone needs to write to Tom Brady. Tom Brady, I am a big fan of football. I understand all of the sports ball references.
I love it when you kick.
I love it when you kick the thing into the stuff and
I love
get
it
the
when you
points.
slap the guy's ass.
I love it when you run and then you stop running and then you pause the game and then the whole team, both teams get off the field and then two completely different teams come onto the field because none of the players in football are smart enough to play both offense and defense. I love that. That's great. It isn't even a little bit pathetic, and it's not even a little bit pathetic. Yes, in football, they have two full teams that are completely separate. One is for offense, one is for defense, and they're completely different teams.
Huh.
Which is complete bullshit.
That's interesting. I didn't even know that.
Obvious bullshit. Clearly, an agenda just to get more people. It's all hot take. Okay. American football is just knockoff rugby. That's all it is. It's just knockoff rugby. It's a lesser version of rugby. It is a bastardization of a superior sport. Yes.
I never liked it.
I never liked it. Rugby is fun though. Rugby is really cool. First of all, rugby, they don't play with padding in rugby, which is much better. Second, they literally one of the moves is you get on someone's shoulders and just jump pushing off their shoulders. So you get like 10, 15 feet into the air and just throw your hand up like this and just go pow and catch the ball out of the thing. And they never stop. They don't have an offense and a defense. They just keep on running. And it's great. It's much better. I think that is the superior version of sport. I don't think sports should stop. I don't like baseball either. Baseball is stupid. I think we should do a percentage of sports, figure out what percentage of the sport are you actually playing the sport, and something like golf, hot take, not a sport. Baseball, not a sport.
Yeah.
If you're not playing your sport for more than 30% of the time that you're doing the sport, it's not a sport.
Yeah. All right.
So
we
write
did
to Tom Brady.
Find a solution though.
We did. Yeah, we found a solution.
We got to get Tom Brady to get the vaccine. Yeah, on national television.
We're gonna try to get Tom Brady on the show, and then we'll ask him. Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to interview Tom Brady. It wouldn't be much of an interview because it basically what do you do? Well, I play sports. How does that work?
Yeah, it would be. That's all it would be.
Yeah.
All right. But I think that's it for this one.
Fantastic.
Comment, subscribe, like, share, follow us on all the things, and write to Tom Brady.
Write to Tom Brady. Au revoir.